in the first 100 days?
In 180 days.
180 days?
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole 6 months.
Mm-hmm. That's practical.
Yeah, that's practical.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, where do you begin?
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, I don't know if you remember, but in 1980, Ronald Reagan stood with Mikhail Gorbachev. Remember this?
Yeah.
And he said to Mr. Gorbachev, take down this wall. It was just a symbol. It really didn't do anything except for create freedom and hope in the people. Honestly, the first thing that I'm going to do, there's a wall around the State House in Honolulu. I don't know if you've seen it before. It's a plywood wall that they built around all 4 sides of the state capitol building. It's Hawaii's Great Wall of Shame. It's a symbol. And that symbol separates the people from its government. I am going to I'm a contractor, so I do demo. We're going to enroll the people of Hawaii, and we're going to take down the wall.
Yay.
And we're going to make it a national media, and we're going to illuminate the fact that Hawaii will no longer live under the tyranny of one. That the people's voice shall be heard.
Amen.
And the people shall have access to their governor, to their legislators, to their government. And this wall is a visual example of everything that's wrong with our state. And I would say, and then the second thing, which can be done even before that, is if there are any mandates in place that are governing the people from having access to social services or to public accommodations, that will be removed the next day. I can assure you the idea, and maybe understand this in a different form. In Japan, you guys have exceedingly difficult travel restrictions. It's my understanding that Japan has a policy where people, if they're not Japanese citizens, they can't even come. I'll be honest with you, that's unacceptable to me. Because that's not freedom and liberty. When we know that there are therapeutics and things out there that actually address COVID. The idea that we'll be bound by people who are making decisions for your well-being, for my well-being, is not acceptable. So what will I do? If there are passport regulations, if there are stipulations on businesses, if there are mask mandates, if there are requirements for vaccinations in the state of Hawaii, they will be eliminated by executive order. I'll do that. I think the next thing, and I like this, I'm going to get rolling. I like this a lot.
Yeah,
I think that there needs to be, from the state office right away, there needs to be an office of actual ethics that we're going to begin to illuminate everything that's going on within our government, where our taxpayer money comes from, who's getting the taxpayer money, how the taxpayer money is being used, and that the people who are misusing the tax money for their own benefit should be prosecuted under the law. There shall be actual justice, equal justice across the law. Many of us struggle. Honestly, I struggle when I hear of like, this guy gets arrested for a DUI, but because he's well known and he has resources, there's no prosecution. This poor guy over here gets arrested for the same DUI and his life is destroyed. Now, I'm not suggesting that a DUI is a good thing on either side. What I'm alluding to is we don't have equal justice. And a healthy society must have equal justice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that we would start those kinds of programs, because those can be started right off the bat. And then obviously the choices about new directors and all that, well, I don't know how fast it takes to turn that out, but we're going to be about that. We're going to be about rolling back regulation. We're going to be talking to the directors in these departments about how to start moving land policy around, right? So that farmers can be on farmland that they own. This Ag 1 designation that we have now, which is 5-acre parcel where you can have one house on it. I don't understand that. In Hawaii, we have such a shortage of housing, right? Why not make it Ag 5? It's a 5-acre piece, right? This is simple. Why not give the farmers let them own the land? If you were a farmer, would you invest your life savings and risk everything on a 3 to 5 year lease? Of course you wouldn't. This would be foolish. And this is how the Department of DLNR has made it impossible for local industry to exist. This is new policy in the big picture. This is not long-standing policy. This is directed policy so that when you go to the grocery store and you walk into KTA, did they have Safeway where they're going? You do, yeah?
Yes, yes, they do.
I walked into Safeway in Oahu a couple of months ago, and I walked through the produce section, and it was like a piece of artwork. It was beautiful. All the food was perfectly stacked. It was colorful. It was an invitation. And I looked around the room, and I thought, this is beautiful, except for one thing. None of it comes from Hawaii. This is heartbreaking.
Oh, you mean the waffle? Oh,
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about on a mass scale, right? I'm not talking about, of course, we have local farmers who are bringing food to table, food to market. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking mass scale. Where in Hawaii, we're only 10 days away from a massive problem if the ships stop. That's the scale I'm talking about.
10 days.
10 days.
Mm-hmm.
10 days. Yeah. Those ships stop, we have no food in 10 days. So this property, I would start growing food.
She does.
You said like,
Yeah.
I'm serious.
She
I know
has
lots of people
food.
who are growing food.
We're coming here. No.
yeah, you can come.
Oh,
So
thank
anyway, what I do, I would work in these departments to start aligning the system. Because you're not going to flip a switch. You do not turn an aircraft carrier in one day. You just do this. A couple of degrees. And then in 6 months, that's actually turned into a big shift in the way a society functions. So I'm not going to go in and bully the system. Everybody's going to lose their jobs. We're going to have massive vacancies and job applications flying everywhere. I'm saying it's strategic, it's thoughtful, it's around the edges. You pick the low fruit, and then you start making changes. And so that would be the 6-month plan.